guys, it's Sabrina. So today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what third year is like and clinicals are like, since I actually just finished clinicals yesterday, which is super exciting. Can't believe I'm officially done with third year. All I have left to do is take the shelf exams again in about 2 weeks. I also have to take step 2 CS, which is actually next Tuesday. So think good thoughts for me next Tuesday, please guys. And that's my last official test that I have to take in medical school. Before I start residency, and of course there's more tests in residency, but for now I'm like actually done for a little bit, which is super exciting. So I cannot wait to just be done and then focus on fourth year and applying and all that kinds of stuff. So I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about what third year was like for us specifically, and like how I can help you guys do better than how we did, and things that you should be expecting and things that you should be doing. So third year was actually a bit of a mess for us because this is the first time third year has ever happened at our school, and the first time that clinicals have ever happened. So we don't have upperclassmates or people that we can look up to talk to, which was a little bit difficult because we kind of just went in blindsided and didn't really know what to expect. Whereas the class below us now is going to know what to expect because we can give them advice and they kind of have an idea of what's going to go on. So I feel like it was a lot of trial and error, and I definitely learned on the job. And there was good days and bad days throughout the year, but overall, I feel like I learned so much in third year. It's crazy. Like, you learn so much basic science stuff when you first start medical school in the first 2 years. And then when you go into third year, you actually learn like what it's like to be a doctor, what it's like to start prescribing things, taking care of patients, ordering things. And it was really different experience. And I actually had a hard time adapting to it at first. I didn't really like it because I'd never done anything like that before. I was so used to just studying all the time and just doing my books and, you know, focusing on all that stuff, that I wasn't used to like going out and like seeing patients, coming up with like assessment and plans, just feeling like I was always on all the time and trying to be like my best self. It was really different. It was exhausting at times as well, but eventually I got the hang of it and excited to feel like normal. So I think at first it's definitely tiring and exhausting and very different because it's something that you've never done before, and it's really new to you, and you kind of learn like who you are as a person and like as a medical student versus like you're starting to become more of a preparing more to become an intern and a resident. So it was definitely a wake-up call. It was very different. The first few months I was struggling really hard because I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I feel really dumb. Everyone keeps asking me questions I can't answer, and I just felt like I was lost. And over the past couple of months, over the past year, I felt like I've started to get the hang of things more, and I've been more prepared and ready for like what to expect every day. So our schedule is a little bit different. I talked to you guys about it in a previous video. It's called an LIC. So it's a longitudinal integrated clerkship. So first we started with a lot of outpatient, and then we switched to a lot of inpatient. So my first actual part of the semester was a lot of outpatient. So we do like 3 days a week of outpatient, and then we'd have this white space where we could do whatever we wanted. And then we had inpatient, so we'd have like 2 week blocks of different inpatient services. So a lot of like the last half of my third year was actually filled with inpatient. So I was in the hospital a lot, and that's where I feel like I learned the most. So basically my biggest advice is to get ready to be pimped and to get ready to not know some of the answers to the questions, because you're not going to know everything. You know, and if you don't know something, just be honest and be like, I don't know. Or you can attempt to try to answer the question and go from there and see what happens. Or you can just say, I'm sorry, I'm going to look it up later, and you'll see what the attending feels. Like, some of the attendings will like be really upset if you try to grab your phone and look up the answer right when he's asking you. He'll be like, no, don't look it up now, you can look it up later. Others are like, yeah, go ahead, look it up and see what you think, or see what the answer is and learn from it. And so it depends on the different attendings. Another thing that you need to get used to is presenting, and it can be super nerve-wracking, especially when you've never presented in front of people before. And that was kind of how it was like when I first started third year. I was like really lost on how to present in front of people. I had no idea what everyone wanted and what was too much information and what was too little, and I'd just be so nervous and like slurring my words, and I don't even know what would come out of my mouth sometimes. And then I'd have to come up with an assessment and plan, and I'd be like, I don't even know, I'm not a doctor, I have no idea what we should do. But I got the hang of it. So definitely ask your residents for help. They're there to help you. They know the different attendings that you're going to be working with, so they can give you a heads up on what that attending likes and wants. I learned very quickly that in surgery they definitely do not want a whole entire internal medicine presentation. They'll actually just get glazed over, stop listening to you after like a minute. And they might even tell you, that's enough, please hurry up, stuff like that. Like they'll say things to you, and sometimes it can hurt your feelings, but like, you know, they don't want their time wasted, which makes sense. So you have to gauge the people. So I feel like surgery definitely was not a place that I needed to present everything, just like the pertinence. Same with emergency medicine, definitely do not present everything. They're gonna get really annoyed. But on IM and like family, they definitely want you to present every single part of the history. They want you to come up with an assessment and plan and have your ideas of what's going on. So be ready for that. It's a little bit different on every specialty. So don't worry, because sometimes I'd come in and I'd be like, I feel like I was starting all over again the first 2 weeks of a new specialty because I had no idea what they wanted and what I should do. So it's okay to be a little bit rough during the first week and figure out kind of like your team and the people that you're going to be working with, and then the next couple of weeks try to improve yourself, get better at presenting, get better at like answering questions, because you'll know like what the attending is going to ask you. I definitely recommend looking up the disease that you think the patient has for your assessment and plan, and looking at like important things about it, and get ready to describe them to your attending, because they might be like, oh, why do you think they have this, and how do you manage this thing that you think they have? So they'll like ask you a lot of specific questions about the disease, so just get ready to be pimped on that and know your stuff for that stuff. Another really good thing is to try to look up your patients, of course, every morning before you go and see them. So look to see if there's any new labs, if there's any new imaging, if there's like any notes from anyone that are new, and just like get a kind of a good detail before you go and see them. This is the same thing with like when you're first going to see a patient, like a new patient, go get as much detail as you can. So look up information about the patient before you go into the room, so that you know what questions you want to ask. And when you come out, you can just formulate your assessment and plan and go straight to the attending and present. Because sometimes the attending will expect you to be ready to go right after you come out of the room and be like, all right, go for it. And you don't have time to like go research stuff, and you don't have time to like do things. So just be ready. And notice that too before, sometimes I haven't been able to like formulate my assessment and plan very thoroughly, and I'll just go and they'll be like, okay, present. I'll be like, oh, okay, and then I'll like try, but then it's all a jumbled mess. So if you can, just try to like talk to the residents before you present, and sometimes you can practice with the residents. They're all really nice, and they'll like give you some like tips and tricks and stuff. Another really good thing to do is make sure you work on your physical exam. No matter what anyone else is doing around you, if you want to do a full physical exam on someone, then go for it. It's really good practice, and that's the only way that you learn. Once you're obviously an attending and you know what you're doing, you can do more focused physical exams, but I think that's really important to like work on your physical exam skills as well. And over time it'll just come natural. Like you'll figure out what you need to do and how to prepare for every rotation specifically. If you guys want, I can go into like a more detailed video on all the different rotations and how I prepared for each of them. This is more of like a how to survive third year kind of video, so I just want to give you guys my tips and tricks in this video. Just know that as a third year medical school student, you're not expected to do a crazy amount of stuff. Like they'll be excited if you even know how to take a history and do a physical exam on a patient, because you're just learning and it's the first time you're in the hospital, so don't be too hard on yourself. Like if you compare yourself to a third year resident or just like a resident in general, it's really difficult because they are in a different level from you, and you can't be like them when you're just starting. Over time, as you're learning, hopefully you'll start to like become like an intern material and learn how to be a better medical student. But just don't be too hard on yourself at first, because we're all learning, and I think that was my problem when I first started third year. I was really disappointed that I wasn't like perfect from the start, and then I was like, that's not possible. So I just tried to like be less harsh on myself. And I know as medical students and type A personality people, we really want to be the best, but we can't always be the best, and we shouldn't be too hard on ourselves when we're not. Also, a good thing to do when you have a lot of free time is to study. Like if you've noticed that you guys are kind of just sitting around, no one's really doing anything, just study. Pick out your Anki flashcards, that's what I would do. Do some practice questions. Don't waste any free time. You're also going to be writing notes, so start to like have a format on how you want to write your notes. You're usually going to have a chief complaint, HPI, and then you're going to have review of systems, past medical history, allergies, meds, surgeries, hospitalizations, physical exam, and then assessment and plan. So just get used to that. That's kind of how they're going to want you to write notes, so you can practice and get better at that as well. And also always come in and just ask, like, is there anything that I can do? Is there any patients I can see? So try to be as proactive as possible. Don't just sit around and expect people to give you things, because they might not, and they might forget that you're there and they're so busy with their own things. So just try to be proactive about stuff and go ask them, like, hey, how can I help? What can I do? But don't bother them too much as well, because they are really stressed out and they're busy. So just, you know, if it's downtime and there's nothing to do and you feel like that's the vibe, then that's the vibe. You go do your own thing, and when they're ready to let you go home, they're going to tell you to go home, and just say, yes, thank you very much. Is there anything else I can do? And go home and enjoy your time, because eventually as a 4th year and probably as an intern, you're not going to be going home as early. So enjoy days where you get to get off earlier and you can go study and like use your time wisely. But I think that's basically it for my quick little advice about 3rd year and what to expect. But yeah, I can do more detailed videos about each rotation if you guys want, if you guys are interested in that. Let me know. And of course I have a Step 2 CK How I Studied video coming as well, and I have a sketchy video coming on March 11th, so stay tuned for that. I got to partner up and work with them again, and I'm really excited, so stay tuned for that video. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys soon.